y'all, and welcome back to the storyline. I'm your host, B Felicia Freckleface V, whatever you want to call me. Welcome to the final episode of season one. I am very grateful to have had this experience with you guys. I am coming back. I don't know why I'm saying it like that. We've had some great debates. I have made some new friends. I have some fans, all of that. And I love you all for supporting me through my first season. So, this episode will be a little lengthy, maybe. As you all know, I talk really fast because I'm nervous. And sometimes an episode that's supposed to be an hour turns out to be like 25 minutes, but I will try not to do that this time. And this again is pretty lengthy, lengthy. There's like 12 segments in this, but we will get through this. Again, thank you to everybody for listening. And let's get into it. So how I'm gonna start this off is we're gonna talk about the WWE and TKO. Um, Wrestling is turning into a full-time subscription plan, and a front row seats are hitting like 70,000 for PLEs, which is insane because who has that type of fucking money? This has turned into more like luxury entertainment, and that's not what we're here for as fans. So, with that being said, the WWE used to be something that you could keep up with. I remember my first ticket that I whatever WWE event I went to at the first time ever was like 25 fucking bucks. Those same seats are now 225 even in the nosebleed. Now, we of course everything is price increased. I get that. But back in 1996, let's say there were 12 pay-per-views a year. 2023, there were 11. 2024, there were 12. And now in 2025, we are already at 16 and we are over halfway through the year. By December, they'll be pushing 20 PLEs. Um, and 20 PLEs is a fucking lot. You know, there's almost nothing to look forward to. At first we had the WWE network where again, oh fuck, drop my fucking mic. We had the WWE network, which was of course $9.99. They used to tell us every 5 minutes, which I had. No big deal. $9.99. That's nothing. Now we have Netflix, which Raw is on for $23.99. ESPN, where we get our PLEs now for $29.99. Live TV, where SmackDown is, which ranges max $80. Peacock, which is $10.99, which now has the archived PLEs and stuff like that and documentaries. That's like $150 per month, which is like $1,700 per year to keep up, which is highway fucking robbery for some shit we used to be able to watch for 10 bucks. Um, so even with Peacock had Mania, Rumble, SummerSlam, like I said, until now with the ESPN deal. Um, it's a lot of platforms for fans, and it's a lot of money. Um, $145 a month is really pushing it. This is supposed to be a family friendly thing. And a lot of families don't have $145 to spare for subscriptions every month. Um, and at the moment, as I'm talking about all the PLEs, we are going into, it seems to be a PLE overload. What used to be a special thing for us to experience is now become a routine. Um, let's really look at the things that are going on. Like we again, they used to be special. Um, Back in the day, I guess that's what you want to call it. Back then, every event mattered. You had time to breathe during events. You had time to listen to the stories build, and to care. Now you can't even finish reacting to one thing before it's time to go to another PLE. We used to have like The WWE used to give us, four cornerstones, which was Rumble, Mania, SummerSlam, Survivor Series. Now it's like Elimination Chamber, Backlash, Clash in Paris, Crown Jewel, WrestlePalooza, a million Saturday night main events with 20 fucking thousand commercials. Really, we're paying for commercials, but that's a whole nother story. That's over 20 premium shows in 1 year. And when everything is premium, it's not special anymore. They are chasing content over connection at this point. Um, Quantity over creativity, which is sucks because we've been where the creativity was wonderful back in the Vince days, but we're not going there. It's not that as a fan, I'm tired of wrestling. It's I'm tired of how repetitive things are becoming. The bookings, the stories, the schedules, half of the matches are like reruns every fucking week. Um, I did go to WrestlePalooza, and WrestlePalooza was cool. Before I got my ticket, I was thinking to myself that WrestlePalooza wasn't even necessary, even though it was in my city. Um, I didn't think it was a necessary PLE. Now, you guys might not agree with me, um, but it was fun. I do have some things that I want to say that, don't take this episode as negativity. These are just my feelings towards things that are happening in wrestling right now, more with the WWE than anything. You know that this show is mostly the WWE. Am I going to change that in the coming months? Absolutely. Um Again, 5 matches is not a premium event. It's just a show. There are more matches in Raw and SmackDown during the week than there have been at some of these PLEs. My number one issue with this was John Cena getting folded by Brock Lesnar in 10 minutes. No speech, no farewell, just lights out, boom, it's over. John Cena deserves better. Jay Uso hit himself. Um, that happened. Stephanie McMahon was probably the highlight of the night. Um, just Seth and Becky's entrance, definitely 10 out of 10. The outfits were absolutely horrible. I love CM Punk and AJ Lee, so I'm biased towards that. Seeing them together definitely added points to WrestlePalooza for me. Overall, I give WrestlePalooza a 6.5 out of 10. Not bad, not special. That's what the WWE is right now. Flashes of brilliance surrounded by confusion. And so we are every week seeing the same faces. The WWE has 300 wrestlers signed, almost 300 wrestlers signed, but you would never know it because every week is the same 20 faces. Cody opens, Judgment Day, Rhea shows up. Somebody from NXT gets there, 5 minutes. Then there's PLEs, which is again, same faces, same matches every week. And it's just like this, just over and over again. Then you see names pop up that you're not used to seeing, and you're like, damn, you still work here? This is still a snake. You're still a thing. But the roster is stacked, but the product feels empty. The roster isn't the problem, it's the rotation that's the problem. They've built a monopoly of main eventers while everyone else is waiting for their turn. And as we're speaking of people who only show up every few months, let's go ahead and talk about John Cena's farewell tour because it's definitely fucking fumbling and it's pissing me off. Like, I've never been a hardcore Cena fan, but definitely John Cena deserves better. He definitely should be celebrated more, but it seems like we're getting more confusion than anything. The heel turn in Elimination Chamber had potential, but the potential ended up turning into nothing. um I'm still not understanding where that was going. It's like they gave us a half of a story, then cut it off, and it made absolutely no sense in the end. Him turning heel would have been okay 20 years ago. And people on threads were pissed at me because I said it sucked. If you're enjoying it, good. Good for you. I'm glad that you enjoyed it. I'm glad that you're enjoying John Cena's farewell tour. I, however, am not, which is my fucking prerogative. Um, Brock Lesnar, again, like I said, WrestlePalooza, 10 minutes, no goodbye, no thank you, no, none of that. Just straight up, that's it. Random ass matches, weird promos, just weird shit. No really real creative plan seems to have been talked about or executed properly. Some of the stuff just seems rushed, awkward, things that we will forget. Nothing at this point is unforgettable except for his heel turn at Elimination Chamber. Um he is one of the greatest to ever do it. And this farewell has been everything but legendary. It should have been so much better. And while they're struggling to wrap things up with Cena, Roman has been coming back like every 2 minutes. And every time he returns, the show wakes up and then crashes again. So, with that being said, we're obviously going to turn this to talking about Roman Reigns returning again. It's definitely like a reset button. Roman Reigns has returned for the 50th time this year. And every time the ratings dip or the story stalls, Roman walks in, fireworks, tribal chief shit, aura, all of that, and the crowd goes wild because he's on the screen and it feels big. Don't I'm one of them. I'm a hardcore Roman Reigns fan. When I hear that do 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 do, I am screaming just like everybody else. If I'm in person, I am crying. I am Roman, like just like everybody else. Or it's just me that does that. Sidebar, every time I go to anything that's WWE and Roman comes out, I shed a tear. Why? I don't know. I'm overtaken by excitement and I am overwhelmed every single time. When I went to the Royal Rumble, I could barely see him and I was like, ooh. I will insert a tiny clip of me screaming like I was having a stroke or heart attack. I don't know if you screamed then, but I was screaming as if something was happening. Um, but anyway, but once Roman is gone again, everything dips, falls apart, the stories go stagnant. Um, these stories, even with the bloodline story used to mean something, and then they took it too far. Now Roman just seems like a safety net. And when the WWE starts to dip, they hit the Roman panic button and the ratings spike. Everybody's good, everything's good. Roman is the shit. Don't get me wrong. He's definitely that guy. His presence always needed, but he's a part-timer. So you can't build consistency around a part-timer. It's just like hitting a reset button every month and calling it storytelling. It's like we get Roman every few months. He's back right now. We're very happy. Raw was actually pretty good this past Monday. I'm not, it was good. Roman was there. That is probably the reason. Um it sometimes is not as special as it should be. There are a lot of things that the WWE tells us beforehand, and that's why it's not a surprise anymore. At the beginning of the year, these Roman showing up was amazing. The beginning of the year for the WWE was fucking fantastic. But we're still doing the same shit. And it's like the crazy part right now is Roman isn't carrying the story that they're trying to create. It's Jay that they're trying to create another story for, which leads me into my next topic, the next tribal chief. And many of you may not agree with me on this one, but as I've been watching over the last few months, few weeks, every time Roman returns, it seems like he is trying to prep Jay for something. Um, in my thoughts, sometimes I just sit and think about wrestling and what may be to come. We have the random change to the OTC one, which is corny as fuck to me because we don't really need him to be the OTC one. He is the OTC. But, you know, real quick change that I believe that we are getting a preparation for the OTC 2 to be Jay Uso. And honestly, it makes sense. It's not a bad idea. Is it the greatest idea? I don't know. Um, we have seen what happened with Jay in the past with the World Heavyweight Championship. It's like he executed but then couldn't hold on. And so do we think that he could be the next tribal chief? Um when Jay is surrounded by Roman and Jimmy, he's electric, energy fantastic, performance immaculate. But when he's solo, it kind of dips. It doesn't pop as much. Um, the thing about Jay is he's got the yeet, he's got the energy. That's what makes him special. If the WWE polishes him too much and turns him into a serious chief, then he loses that magic. And then what do we have? The entertainment of Jay right now, and it has been for a while, the yeet, it's just me, oos, all of that kind of shit. We won't have that anymore because he won't hold that aura anymore. It'll be different. It'll be serious. So I'm wondering if they do turn him into the next tribal chief, will he still keep that same energy or are we moving into another era of Jay? Um, we definitely don't need another Roman. With that being said, there's only one Roman Reigns and we don't need anybody to follow him or follow in his footsteps. We need someone better. We don't need a duplicate. And I think they go wrong with that a lot. We don't need a duplicate. We need the next up. And we don't need another Roman. Um, and so, we love Jay. He's just I love Jay Uso. I love the Usos. I am very happy to see Jimmy and Jay, back together. Um, I do again think that Jimmy is so underrated. And I hate that they put him in the background and they don't pull him, to the front and give him more opportunity. Um I really want them to let Jay stay true to who he is and not the next up tribal chief. Um yeah. And lately, I don't get to watch NXT a lot, but NXT has really been cooking. Shout out to NXT. They are doing their thing. It is actually very entertaining to watch when I do have the time. Jada Parker is rising rapidly. I also really enjoy Soul Ruka. Those women are beautiful people. Um, Trick Williams, Obafemi, all of those people, they are doing well. NXT is doing well. Um, the energy in NXT definitely does feel different. They're building new stars, letting their stories breathe, and taking their creative risks that actually are paying off. Um, it is definitely a place where the wrestlers are growing instead of just existing. They're definitely developing, and so their roster is good. They're doing a good job over there. Um, with everything that I'm talking about, um, the cost problems and stuff like that, we love this. We are true to this. And ticket prices are outrageous. $300 for a good seat, cool. But when you have a family of 4, you can't like that's $1,200. Then you have to think about food, merchandise, gas. All of those things. If you're traveling, you're spending a good five to $10,000 at this point. And then on top of that, you got all them damn streaming services like I talked about in the beginning. And this is supposed to be family entertainment. Entertainment just in general. But what family can afford these type of tickets? That I can't. When I went to SmackDown in at the end of January, right before the Royal Rumble, I think our tickets all together came up to almost there were it was me, my daughter, my son, and their dad. And it came up to almost $800. Our seats were wonderful, but it came up to almost $800. And $800 on top of the $150 that we paid for the Jay Uso photo op, which was great. He smelled lovely. Anywho, sorry y'all. $800 is a lot. We didn't have to travel because it was in our city. Um, and so, you know, we had to pay for parking. Um, we had to pay for food. We had to pay for all of that because I think they had like the experience earlier that day. So there was the superstore and there were like the interviews, press conferences and stuff going on. And, it was just a room full of people and merchandise. And so you could see other people like I seen Rhea, I seen Rey Mysterio, things like CM Punk. But our photo op was with Jay, which again, $150, which is actually not bad for a family. It wasn't per person; it was just for a family. But right there is almost $1,000. And then again, like I said, on top of that, food, merchandise. What else did we do? Yeah, food and merchandise. I will say that we spent around $1,300 for SmackDown. Um, and just that Friday, let me put it that way. Just that Friday, we spent about $1,300. Which it's not too bad, but it was still a lot. At that time, I was jobless, so it was a lot. Um, then we obviously got those tickets to the Royal Rumble, which still at a point did cost us money because again, food, drinks, all of that shit. Of course, every day the kids want merch. So there was that. So during the weekend we spent about $2,000. And that is a lot, especially for somebody who's not working. Shout out to their dad because he did do a lot to get us where we needed to go. So it at a point is not as family friendly with the cost. Cost effective, not at all. Because say you go to those events, but you're still paying the $1 million subscriptions every month as well. And don't get me wrong, I always will love the WWE. I still love the WWE. They're in Perth, Australia for Crown Jewel this weekend. Am I about to pay $30 for for a pay-per-view? I am. I'm going to. Am I going to watch SmackDown today? I am. Um this is what I enjoy. Do I have problems with it? Absolutely. Am I complaining? Maybe a little bit. Again, this is my last episode of the season, so I want to get all my thoughts out because next season we're moving to something bigger and better. Okay? All right. Um I know that the TKO and WWE deal makes sense on paper. Definitely corporate math. It makes sense for them. The WWE being under TKO, the same company that owns UFC, um, but they're making millions of dollars treating the product like a luxury. So now that the WWE is doing the same thing, like I said, the prices are higher. And now they have endless partnerships, which is good for them. They are sometimes during the day you will see random commercials with them on it. During their shows, there are 1,000 commercials. We are seeing Cody Rhodes, Rhea Ripley, Jay Uso, LA Knight, all on commercials. Um, not one, two, three, just over and over and over again on some commercials, which is cool. Um, they're getting all these sponsorships and things like that, but this is a legacy. The WWE is a legacy, and you can't build that on luxury. Fans are not looking for a luxury experience when we're watching the WWE. We're looking for the experience, the legendary experience. Blah, blah, my bad. The legendary experience, not luxury. Wrestling is not luxurious. It's not luxury. Um, we don't give a fuck about none of that stuff. Um, the WWE should be about connection. Um, money is not something that can buy these moments for us. You definitely will and should always go off the loyalty of your fans. And lately, I've been seeing a lot of people say, "Oh, I'm not watching that anymore. I'm not going to those anymore. I'm not paying for those anymore," which is 100% understandable. We should not have to get a VPN to do this and do that. Still, some shit we got to pay for monthly or however it works. I don't have one. I don't know how to make that work. Um, like I said, I will be paying this weekend to watch Crown Jewel. Am I happy about it? No, but whatever. Um, wrestling without the fans isn't shit. Let's be real. You know, the WWE is based off the fans, the WWF, whatever. Yeah, we might have been better story wise back in Vince era. And I know that I see a lot of people say, well, if Vince, which is 100% true, but the Vince era is not appropriate for today's climate. So we have Papa H, but creativity is lacking bad. I sometimes could sit here and think of a whole story that could last a year without using the same 20 people over and over and over again. When it came to Drew McIntyre and Cody Rhodes during WrestlePalooza, I swear to God, I thought that Drew McIntyre was going to win. And we were going to take a different turn and approach to that belt. That did not happen. Cody Rhodes retained, and here we go. What do you want to talk about? I don't want to talk about shit. I'm a Cody crybaby, but honey, I am tired of that shit. Tired. Fed the fuck up. And y'all gotta be too. Y'all gotta be too. You know, they are squeezing every ounce of juice that there is left out of the fans for money and time. You know, we grew up loving this. We were raised on this as kids. You know, we lived through errors and errors of things. Well, at least I have. You know, I lived through at least maybe 6 or maybe more. Um, But again, now it's like a subscription service, like not a culture, it's a service. I love wrestling. I always will. But I'm not blind to the fact that things are changing and doesn't seem like for the better. Um, so I want to know what you guys think about the climate of wrestling right now and the things that are going on. Um, yeah. And that's how we're going to wrap up season 1 of the storyline. 12 episodes in, we did a lot of debating. I celebrated a lot of things. Shout out to my best friend. She had a baby a couple of weeks ago. I have been really busy trying to revamp this podcast. I've been really busy with myself, my family, trying to support my friends doing their great times in life. My best friend had such a beautiful baby girl. I am so proud of her. She did an amazing job. She is an amazing person. Shout out to you, Tani. Um, what else have I been doing? that I can tell you guys about. I've been working. I work at a recovery center. That's all that I can say, which is stressful in itself. And when I mean recovery, I mean like addiction recovery. Um, it's stressful some days. So, me having a big ass 3-week gap is because I was working my ass off. Like I said, my best friend had a baby. My daughter has been sick for a week. My son is doing cool. You guys will hear a lot more from him next season. So yeah, I've just been doing me. And so I will try next season not to do big ass gaps in the middle. But also I have been preparing what I was gonna say in this episode for the last 3 weeks. I didn't know what I wanted to talk about because again, I didn't want to complain. But as I sit here and watch, I'm like, they are kind of feeling us as a company. Um, business is business. We know that. Um, but sometimes more money is not what's best for business. So we'll see what happens with that. Like I said, I have been really busy trying to revamp this to make this better for you guys, to make this better for me. Um, if you guys have any suggestions, please do not hesitate to inbox me. Do quit inboxing me weird shit, y'all. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all support, but don't keep inboxing me weird shit. It makes me feel weird. Then I have to block you, and then I lose a listener because I unblocked you because you're weird. Um, this past week, I was able to be a guest on Main Event Mamas. I definitely appreciate their vibe. I appreciate them inviting me on their show. I hope one day that they will have me back. So please go listen to Main Event Mamas and shout out to them. They are amazing women doing amazing things. Um, and while the storyline is on a break, I'm not. Catch me on TikTok for quick takes and spicy thoughts. Before I come back, I will definitely be talking about Crown Jewel in Perth. It'll be quick. So it'll be like little bits and pieces of me and my thoughts. Um, season Drew. I was just thinking about Drew McIntyre. Season 2 will drop in November around Survivor Series. You guys will know that because I'll start posting more about it and things like that. But again, if you have any suggestions for me, anything you want me to talk about, anything that you need me to hear, please do not hesitate to send me a message. Um, I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I want to talk about before I let you guys go for a month and some change. I miss Liv Morgan. This is a brain dump. I really am not a Liv Morgan fan, but I miss Liv Morgan. Where is Bianca? I know that her finger is messed up, but Jesus, how much longer is it gonna take before she comes back? That was a long time ago. Um, 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 Again, there's so many things to talk about, but I only got out what I could get out. Um, this is the storyline, and please follow me on Instagram at freckleface_fee or at Let's Talk Storyline. On TikTok, I am freckleface_fee. Please do not hesitate to talk to me because I definitely talk back. And again, this is the storyline. I will see you guys next month for season 2.